Could Roll.EXE beat Akuma? We rarely see Megaman characters fighting anything besides other navis. So exactly how much danger are you in if Bass.EXE is rampaging down your street? Could you fight off Iris.EXE in hand-to-hand combat? I'm going to break down where the games indicate all of the Megaman cast rank in power, using common sense and extrapolation to fill in the gaps. Regarding the ranking ratings, I'm not ranking individual attacks, and Megaman is a combo-heavy series. I'm ranking how much destruction would a character likely cause before we could stop them. Assuming we had 8 hours notice, they were going to spawn and attack somewhere on Earth. For Battle Network, I am considering characters in unlocked infinite battery copybots. Defense seems a lot more uniform unless we get into HP pools, but that varies wildly between games, so I'm going to mostly look into their hacking abilities. Before we get into this, one of these characters in Battle Network Forte.exe is going to take top of S. Take a minute and comment who you think it will be. No editing or cheating. I think it's pretty obvious looking back. I'll pin the first comment I see that guesses it correctly. Colonel.exe becomes an important character in these games, and his sword can cut remotely wherever he can see. He is also packing other weaponry like bazookas and missile launchers, and can summon soldiers from the floor or small bits of terrain as backup. Yet, his ultimate move involves him trapping and executing a single opponent within his coat. I say this earns him a spot ahead of Gunner and Earth Sigma, with large metro to small country offense. Battle Network 4 replaces styles with double souls. The biggest difference that will be relevant being double souls have a time limit. It also has a chaos variation able to use a powerful chip instead of a charge shot at risk of destabilization, resulting in a soul schism that splits off Megaman's Dark Soul to attack indiscriminately. But I'm not ranking those separately, that's just ranking the soul plus a chip in RNG. Colonel Soul also can attack remotely, but with smaller, less frequent slashes. While this form lacks an expanded armory, it can glue on and reuse any chip as a charge attack, which is honestly not as good as it sounds. Likewise, it can call for backup soldiers, but only from small chunks of terrain dotting the battlefield, simultaneously consuming them. This is a drop to behind Pandora. Gut Soul is a tough form that can buff non-elemental attacks, fire a burst of bullets, and punch instead of use a charge shot. I'd call it a marginally worse Gut style. Fire Soul allows Megaman to bury the hatchet with Mr. Match. Upon assuming this form, lines of grass extend for Megaman. His charge shot becomes a flamethrower. Megaman can also sacrifice chips to release a long, powerful, fiery blast. It's not quite on par with the original Navi, so I'm putting it behind Heatman. Roll Soul is something I'm glad was created before the 2010 so it wouldn't get pulled into any controversy or internet wars. It can heal by 10% with every chip, and its charge shot becomes a chip-deleting arrow. But Roll herself is much stronger. I see this as barely less powerful than Falcon Armor. Thunder Soul allows Megaman to make most chips paralyze, and he can use an Elect-style charge shot, a paralysis shot. This needed a lot more, but I think it's better than Ground style, at the least. Number Soul is much more nimble than the original, but only has the die and the option to pick from 10 chips. It also slightly boosts chip power. You might expect this to be close to custom style, but the die and the time limit is a big handicap. I think I'd put it ahead of Fire Soul though. Metal Soul is all about breaking through shields. It can double the power of chips and grant them break by charging. And its Buster also breaks shields. But its charge shot becomes punching the ground. Unlike Metal Man, it can't hop in front of an opponent to bash them. So that's a big con. I'm going to drop it behind Roll Soul. Wood Soul heals extremely fast when touching grass, is immune to confusion, disorientation, and disease, and can create tornadoes like Wood style. It also can feed chips to Wood element chips to increase their power. The charge shot could be better, but most of this is very good. I'm putting it behind Colonel Soul. Proto Soul can charge sword chips to teleport forward to attack with double damage. It's also capable of reflecting attacks with a shield, but is limited by the charge shot becoming a wide slash, no teleport. I see this maybe being stronger than Clockman. Magnet Soul is able to increase gravity directly ahead, locking enemies' feet to the ground for a few seconds while it is immune to magnetism or altered gravity. It can also double the power of electric chips with a charge. Its charge shot allows it to pull opponents in close. But that could be very bad because it innately has nothing to combo them with. You know, I think Metal Soul is stronger. Immune to standing on lava, Napalm Soul can absorb the lava to boost the power of chips. Even without doing this, it automatically boosts fire chips. It can also charge fire chips to unleash napalm bombs or fire a machine gun. I'm putting this form after absolute zero. Night Soul can charge guard-piercing chips up to double their power, and becomes invincible when using chips. It can also knock the sense out of opponents with a Wrecking Ball, like the real Nightman. Maybe in the Steel or Iron Age this might be at the apex. It's not going to last long against any army with guns. So, ahead of Metal Soul. Shadow Soul is basically Shadow style. It can also sub out of damage, and tricky terrains aren't problems for it. And it can move extremely quickly and teleport behind enemies when using swords. This is overall enough of an improvement for me to put it above Shield style too. Toad Soul's big ability is being able to hide underwater. Beyond that, it can double the power of Aqua Chips with a quick charge, or release an electrical musical note, like the real Toadman. So it's kind of just Toadman without riding lily pads. I'd choose it over Gut Soul or Style. Everyone's favorite handsome navvy, Aquaman, can blast with a hose and spray tons of water all over. But that's nothing compared to his ability to flood entire sections of the internet when he cries! If he's in an unlocked copybot, what is stopping him from flooding the entire state he's confronted in? Forget global warming. If he's not dealt with, he'll flood the planet, and he can breathe underwater. I guarantee you, if you point a bang bang at this little cinnamon roll, he's going to cry. So yeah, he's going behind Bass.EXE. Aqua Soul can charge aqua chips and shoot balls of water. It's nothing compared to the original, and I'm accordingly placing it behind Thunder Soul. It's just not as handsome. Top Man is anything but that, but also exactly that. He can slide or hop around as a toy top and become invincible, or toss a couple mini-tops, but it's not enough to give him much of a chance. He doesn't even move as well as the normal Navi, and will land right behind them. Sparkman likes to slide electromagnetic bombs at opponents, or send an undulating wave of electricity ahead. But he can also unleash a flash of light and give life to your shadow, who will try to stab you in the back. That last one, I see getting him a spot behind Flashman. Who is going to see his flash and turn around to check on their shadow? Windman is so powerful his operator must seal his power, or he will create storms across entire internet areas. Again, in a copybot, these burdened bomb-filled tempests can be expected to cover a massive area. Wind is much easier to deal with than not drowning, so he's going to fall behind our handsome planet-destroying Nugget. Wind Soul is able to suck enemies in, removing any energy barriers, and then bat them away with a wind-boosted tennis swing. It lacks a bit in power, but it's kind of just a better Magnet Soul, with the ability to pull and push. That's a lot of power to control how battles play out. Ahead of Night Soul. Video Man has a mixed bag of attacks, like streaming film all over the battlefield, but again, his attacks kind of don't matter. His real ability is being able to pause opponents, locking them in place, and rewinding to reverse the way their body moves. He can also replay anything he sees them do and turn the recording against them. He can increase his own speed by fast forwarding, or heal by rewinding himself to a point before he took damage. As long as cheating won't cause trouble for him, he just surpassed Bass.EXE. I don't know how he'd get to space, but he could probably handle a good deal of what is out there. He's basically just the worst roleplay OC. In combination with Fireman, Burner Man managed to make computer smoke 3 computer networks away. Let's lowball him to 1.5 networks. I don't think humans can fight him from very close. He goes into battle with 2 remote control blowtorches and can launch himself ahead, waving his blowtorch arms at opponents. He's going to pose a lot of difficulties, just even getting close, but he's not Video Man, so I'm sliding him behind Sparkman. Junkman is maybe the most debatable character. He can generate a steady stream of junk, throw anything not nailed down, extend his arms as a press to crush opponents, and fire screw bullets. Yeah, but he can also mimic opponents. Yet here's the twist. He's terminally ill, and his body is rapidly crumbling. In fact, in his brief scenario, his body completely deteriorates. I could see a case for him being absolute bottom, but I'm only going to put him behind the Battle Network humans. I can't see him as anything besides a Navi that is about to pass on in a matter of hours. Junk Soul, on the other hand, is also capable of throwing anything lying around at opponents, and has an aura that disorients and confuses enemies. It can also recycle chips it used. I'm thinking behind Burgerman. Searchman, as you might expect, is a sniper with an auto lock-on rifle. But he can also assess the battlefield and fire from above using portals or mirrors. He often hides underground or activates a cloak to hide, and sometimes also throws grenades to keep opponents on their toes. Heck, he can even shoot his enemies' chips out of them. His biggest weakness is his overcautious nature that leads to him waiting until he thinks he has a perfect shot to attack. So I'm only giving him the edge over Great Redips. Search Soul is able to hit opponents through their defenses, wherever they are, and like the original, carries an auto lock-on gun. It can also shuffle through its chips, searching for just what it needs. It's kind of a toss-up if this watered-down version can edge Searchman with raw aggression, but I'm thinking barely. Coldman is kind of a weaker Iceman, making and pushing ice blocks, but he can also spread freezing cold clouds and flop on your head. I gotta put him behind Model.exe. Kendoman is a nimble and aggressive swordsman, able to dash and teleport into your face to score the point. He can also create 2 clones to gang up on opponents. He is best in duels, so in a real battle, let's put him just past Night Soul. Shademan is a vampire with shadow-based attacks, such as rising out of them to bite opponents, or using them to summon the same hand Gateman did. He is able to screech, generating sound waves, spread his arms to release bats, and dash ahead. At times, he's been immune to all damage besides darkness, but it's unclear why. Worse, when he's deleted, he just goes back to Merkland and has to crawl his way out. I suppose the most powerful form we could look at is immune to everything except dark and evil attacks, so he's probably unbeatable depending on how far we stretch what constitutes an evil attack. So I'm going to just put him behind Windman, but you could make a lot of arguments. Laserman mostly shoots lasers a few steps ahead of where he is, but can also shoot them ahead or into the air, breaking up chunks of rock or ceiling to fall on your head. I'm going to put him behind Magnet Soul. He's also unable to flinch, but his favorite tactics hold him back. You can't just keep shooting lasers on the floor. What are you, a cat owner? Dark Soul is an entity usually seen taking the form of Megaman, but can take on the form of any Navi who has taken a hit off of Dark Chips. Dark Soul maintains any modifications the Navi had, can freely use Dark Chips, or any chips the original Navi has ever used. If it is about to be deleted, it will sometimes become invincible and spaz around in a berserk rage. Again, tons of variables here, but I'm putting it after Flashman. Once it goes buck wild, as Omega.exe would say, it can do a lot of damage fast. Duo, the Celestial Judge, rides around in a meteor, destroying species he deems wicked. So that's far above planetary, easily cluster level minimum. And the new Apex Predator. Even if we take away his meteor, he is huge, heavily armored, equipped with missiles, and has giant fists he can mash you with. He's still going to be up there, but by a smaller margin. I am giving him his meteor though. Gyroman is kind of just a helicopter with unusually poor maneuverability. He can fly ahead dropping bombs or fire a few shots at all nearby enemies, but he's never been seen moving as wildly as a real helicopter. When he is in a helicopter, he can generate a whirlwind from his hand or throw a propeller shuriken that can arc if their target tries to dodge. I'm putting him ahead of Iceman. Though Gyro Soul can't turn into a helicopter, it can still float above any hazardous terrain and also generate a tornado from its bomb. In addition, if it uses a wind-aligned chip or is subjected to a breeze, wind and null chips double in power. I think I could see this head of Toad Soul. Tomahawk Man is blessed with a huge arsenal. He can cleave or throw boomerang tomahawks. He can grin through any pain without flinching and is immune to diseases, poison, and perception-altering substances. For some reason, he can also spin dash. He heads into battle with either a support totem or a cyber eagle. The eagle can dive by or even transform into a hawk tomahawk, able to cleave a fissure in the earth. This may be controversial, but I see him well surpassing peak Protoman. Tomahawk's soul can also disregard any diseases or toxins and perform big cleaves, though I'm putting this after Airman because Tomahawk's soul terraforms any battlefield into a grassy meadow where it will be obliterated by anything fiery. Medi is a nurse who mostly just throws poison-filled capsules, watching them explode. Occasionally she'll generate and mix a bleach and acid molecule, or something else you don't mix, or release a spear to catch and siphon your vitality. I don't think the capsules would do anything, but mixing chemicals might win her a few skirmishes, if she could get it off. Which I kinda doubt. Yes, like most navis, she is agile, but this is still a strategy with issues. But I think it is better than Tomahawk's soul. Speaking of a soul, Medi's soul allows Megaman to throw capsules too, as well as infuses chips with toxic effects or an effect that siphons health from enemies. I feel above Told Soul is good. Blizzard Man is a fellow Darkloid, like Shade Man, able to quickly make and quick snowballs ahead, or turn into a giant snowball and steamroll opponents, leaving chunks of snow all over. He also has Icy Breath and can frost the floor. Don't underestimate how quickly he works. He could even outclass Flashman with just diligence. Infringing on Thunderman's copyright is Cloudman's evil feat as a Darkloid. Unlike Thunderman, he rapidly generates stationary storm clouds that fling ball lightning at enemies, or release a blast around them before being spent. Any attack can dissipate a cloud, however. He can also become a sturdier cumulonimbus cloud to chase opponents. Otherwise, he likes to lazily drift about. If these clouds were any sturdier, or he had some urgency, he might be able to be higher, but I think Numberman surpasses his potential. Copyright infringement doesn't pay. The final Darkloid, Cosmo Man's go-to moves are throwing one of his rings to drop and spin. He's also able to open space portals to dispose of attacks and drop a meteor on rivals. Finally, he can step into a portal and send a stream of tiny asteroids at enemies. I can see him approaching Windman. As a football player, Gridman, no idea what he has to do with grids. He was supposed to be Footman. Anyway, no amount of pain can stop him from rushing to the end goal. After summoning the rest of his team, he does everything he can to rush in towards his goal, and if he succeeds, the whole field explodes. Sometimes he punts, hoping to drop the ball on the other team, or fumbles so it chases them. Let's just be frank. Like a real football player, he's going to be gaining inches at a time. Football is one of the slowest paced sports, where your only actions are so predictable the average play is under 5 seconds. If the military dropped the ball and he scored, maybe he could do something. I'm sorry, football fans. I have to put him behind Magic Man. His only mix-ups are still pretty predictable. Having a 3-man team is his best asset, but his teammates go down like paper. The Bishonen Swallow... Oh yeah, Capcom saw the jokes coming and changed his name to Larkman. He's able to clap so fast he creates a blade of air shaped like a bird that swoops at you and returns. He also likes to dive bomb his opponents in a similar way. I think I'm going to put him behind Gutsman. He has potential always flying, but is also pretty predictable. There's actually quite a bit of speculation of how Nebula Grey works and what it is. It's the incarnation of hate, greed, and every other toxic trait in humanity. It is invincible except for a blue soul that orbits its body, possibly implying there is something wrong with how it incorporated. Otherwise, I don't know why your soul would be a satellite. I'm not giving it SoulNet, a spiritual internet, either. That is entirely separate. No, he's a copybot, like most of the others, darting evil snakes through the battlefield. He can spit evil chasing fire. He can also unleash a dark navi to use a dark chip on enemies, effects ranging from raining evil meteors to a homing ball of lightning. A piece can break off and turn into a wolf-headed snake to destroy a large patch of ground and anything on it. Its final ace is unleashing 1,000 heads that will tear through any defense and suck his prey's life. Is there any debate that even without SoulNet, Nebula Grey goes right below Duo? What if Nebula Gray really was an imperfect replica? Because there's an entity known as Chaos Lord, who seems to be the same thing, but formless, and many times more powerful. So yeah, let's put him above Nebula Gray. He can also become Bass, or any Navi who has toyed with darkness. Speaking of Bass, Bass Double Cross has been feeding on dark chips, and the traces of Nebula Gray and Chaos Lord, which has left his life aura unusable, instead giving him a rapidly regenerating black barrier. He's replaced the energy balls with a machine gun spray, and black wheels he calls Hell's Rolling. He can also combo dark swords or create massive balls of evil to push into or hurl at opponents. Yeah, we are above Chaos Lord now, but I think Duo.exe would still walk all over him like a doll. Megaman is capable of taking on Bass's form at this point by forming an intimate relationship with him through battle. This is referred to as a cross, which is entirely separate and tangential to Double Souls and another system it could be easily confused with. Bass Cross is split into two forms. The first is Bass Cross Gold, which won't flinch to any attack and has Bass's machine gun attack as a charge shot. The second is Bass Cross Silver, who instead can float above the ground and unleash a Hell's Rolling charge attack. Both can still use souls, or the identically named crosses, and both have a wide buster shot. You might have picked this up, but this isn't a huge increase in power. I'm thinking Bass Cross Gold ahead of Plantman and Bass Cross Silver ahead of Gutstyle. Soul Cross Megaman crosses him with the Sun, which is a lot weaker than you would probably think. Basically, he just gets stronger and gradually heals during sunny days, and sunlight-based attacks are twice as fast, which his charge shot lets him shine piercing sunlight in front of him. The main thing that persists indoors at night or during overcast days is his ability to never flinch. If he gets a favorable arena, maybe he could surpass Magnet Soul, but otherwise he's gotta go ahead of Zero.exe. It is at this point Double Souls went out of style, and Mega Man started getting soul crosses. Like Spirit, not Sun, so time to catch up again. Yay! Unlike souls, crosses last until something they are weak to touches them. Each cross can also be corrupted by a digital monster living in Mega Man's belly. Both monsters allow Mega Man to teleport in front of enemies before using a chip, and teleporting back away, and grant the ability to charge and eat chips to claw enemies up. The first, naturally occurring monster, or Psybeast, Gregar, can give Mega Man a corrupted wolf-like form, including a rapid-fire buster and immunity to pain. It is an extremely fast, aggressive, and unpredictable form I see falling just ahead of Sparkman. The man-made Psybeast, Falzar, gives Mega Man a hawk-like form, with many comparable abilities, save the flinch immunity, which are replaced by the ability to fly. This form's rapid-fire mode releases feather bullets over a wide area. It's close to Gregar Mega Man, but I see it falling a little short. Heatman returns to give Heat Cross, a form that boosts buster power and the strength of fire chips, and grants Mega Man a flamethrower when corrupted by the monster Gregar. This form gains Gregar Mega Man's abilities and can breathe fire. I'm putting this form behind Windman, even if it can't fight on a rainy day. Remember Electman? He's back to give Mega Man Elect Cross. This form allows chips to stun enemies and can fire an electrified bolt ahead. With the power of Gregar, it can breathe intense electricity, leaving only devastation behind. Ahead of Heat Cross. The Handsome Boy is back, bringing the very distinct Aqua Cross. It's basically just Aqua Soul, except it now heals by using Aqua attacks, and can be mutated further by Falzar to release mini Typhoons. I say behind Heat and Elect Cross. Also entirely unique is Tomahawk Cross, a form that is Tomahawk Soul without making the battlefield a meadow, and with the ability to evolve by Falzar. In this state, Tomahawk Cross gains the ability to throw its wings as boomeranging tomahawks. This gets to go behind Napalm Soul. The expert of cutting, Slashman, moves a lot, almost dancing before he rushes in to smack opponents with his bladed fists or Zangief spinning. He also has kunai he can hurl. Altogether, I see him surpassing Sparkman. Slash Cross can charge sword attacks to throw them, do similar cutting attacks to the original, and look to Gregar to instead slash both arms in a cross shape after charging and eating a chip. One-on-one, it's not bad. but is just a marginal upgrade over base Gregar Mega Man. Erase Man is an assassin designed to take anyone down. That's not why he's called Erase Man, though. He's named Erase Man because Capcom erased his edgelordy original name. He constantly emanates evil, but flimsy spirits. He runs a trap across the ground to paralyze his prey, then fires laser eyes at them, and of course can reap with his scythe. He's another one-on-one specialist that wouldn't do well against even a modest police force. Maybe a bit better than Punk. Erase Cross inherits the eye laser, but doesn't need to set any kind of trap first. Also, if anything you are wearing or about you could be described as fourth, he can instantly slay or cripple you with his attacks. This is because 4 is the mark of death. If he gives himself over to Gregar, he can launch the barb on his tail at a target to cripple them. While he is better with crowds, I'd still put him behind Slash Cross. If you like trains, Charge Man is literally a train. As you might expect, he can only chugga full steam ahead, occasionally bringing along fellow train cars or spewing red-hot coal. This pattern doesn't do him any favors. Without it, he's nothing more than a normal navi shaped like a train, though. I can see him easily tooting past Number Man at the least. What if you could be the train? Unfortunately, it probably wouldn't go well. Charge Cross lives up to the charging. If you give Charge Cross long enough, it can massively boost the power of chips and have lots of chips to choose from. That's not happening though. While Mega Man is trying to get things rolling, all the extra he can do is a quick tackle or ask Gregar for help, allowing him to launch Gregar's face ahead. Yeah, that's pretty random. I give it a rating of behind Wood Soul. The flying Tengu Man can grow his nose to poke you, create tornadoes or gusts of wind and dive bomb you. I'm going to put him behind Burner Man. Tengu Cross can control the wind to suck people in and knock them away a bit like Wind Soul. Any kind of barrier or shield system won't work against this form, and he is light and able to float across any kind of terrain. If he lets Falzar take over, the bird can create a big horizontal tornado. I see this exceeding Electcross and approaching Windman's levels. This ugly dude, Dustman, likes eating garbage. He unflinchingly inhales it and spits it back out like Kirby. He can even turn his last meal into a buddy who will briefly fight in his stead. Or he can suck you and any protective shields in and bash you between his hands. I'm putting him ahead of Searchman. He's kind of just a less dangerous Junkman without a terminal illness. Maybe he is Junkman's soul in a stable body. Dustcross gives Mega Man many of the same abilities. Mega Man can suck up anything lying around and shoot it at a target, or mold it into a buddy. Unlike Dustman, Mega Man can send unwanted chips to the bottom of his deck in exchange for new ones. And Falzar can lift him into the air for him to barf garbage all over the battlefield. I'm going to drop this head of Erase Cross. Groundman doesn't scoff at difficulty or pain and can literally teleport beneath your feet and drill into you, or launches drills at you. Or he can just mow you down and charge ahead. If he crashes into anything, opponents will have to watch for falling shrapnel. As good as his teleport and bore into you move is, it's pretty single target, so the highest I can go is behind Flashman. Ground Cross keeps the drill under your defense's ability, though not as rapidly. This form's attacks can also create shrapnel hazards or cause rock slides. And if he looks to Falzar for power, he can swoop ahead with his drill, penetrating any defense. For me, this is the first time the Beast form doesn't even kind of compare to the original. Sorry, Ground Cross is going behind Heat Man. Blast Man can shoot an explosion ahead that just keeps exploding, or he can shoot a horizontal fire whirl, or a flurry of little long-range fireballs. That's it. I think I can only put him past Heat Man. Dive Man, as a submarine, can swim through the ground like it's water. It makes it tougher to hit him, but also makes him one of the slowest, most predictable navis. However, while underground, he steadily fires missiles out and can even pull a tidal wave out of the ground. I'm seeing him just ahead of Cookman. While he's not actively trying to die, he might as well be as easy of a target as he would be for any police or military force. Circus Man's greatest feat, or possible weakness, is that he can safely keep a Psy-Beast within himself with no risk of it corrupting him. He also is a master of throwing hands, and can rapidly teleport his hands around to clap on people. He can also throw lions with a whip slash. Finally, he can tear his legs off and try to jump on your head, and if successful, subject you to unfathomable horrors that leave you with PTSD. Do you think behind Protoman is good? Those thunderous claps are lightning fast. Oh, I also forgot, he can drain your energy and life just by dancing in front of you. He could go a lot higher if every military force watched his show instead of just sixing him. Judge Man, oddly enough, also uses a whip, but his is electrifying. Beyond that, he can unleash hungry books to chase opponents or set down a giant book to counterattack. As more of a duelist, I judge him inferior to Desert Man. Element Man is a jack of all elements, able to shift and change what 2 attacks he can do. None of them are too impressive, and all are unusually predictable. He's still a Navi, but Ground Style is a master of more elements, if you ask me. I don't know why this last batch of WW Navis feels like scraping the bottom. Heck, maybe you should go even lower. Finally, we have Iris.EXE, who we have little information on besides that she can control electronic devices and can even influence the Psybeasts. She also has the most experience using a copybot, and seems to be an excellent climber or acrobatic, considering the places she can get to. I know I memed a little bit with the original Iris, but unironically, she seems tough to beat. Here are a handful of highly ineffective things on account of being electronics. Tanks, planes, cars, drones, missiles, radios, computers, cameras, lasers. Even melee weapons might not work well if she could just animate jump away. Now, she could politely ask the missiles or tanks to fire on you, and they would, so her power is unknowable, but she is likely near unbeatable. For this reason, she's going behind Aquaman. Gregar might as well just be gospel, but broken. It too has elemental breath and can swipe with its claws, though it can also throw its head to bite prey before recalling it. He is full of beans and always pouncing around, charging and dodging, causing chunks of anything nearby to tumble down. His tail can fire like a machine gun, and he loves eating chips if opponents aren't on their A game. The one silver lining, its whole head is vulnerable, but good luck. You'll need more than when facing a distraught Aquaman. With just a flap of its wings, Falzar can create gales and use its own feathers as darts. It can exhale tornadoes or sick baby phoenixes on its enemies. It can also rapidly stomp the ground or cloak itself with a tornado and dive bomb. These are pretty deadly attacks. Just for the agility, I have to put this behind Iris.EXE. Bass, again, feasts on the remains of the Psybeasts, losing his barriers and dark chips, and getting the ability to use Gregar and Falzar's breath attacks as Bass Beast Cross. Otherwise, he's the same as Bass Double Cross, but more aggressive. This was a bad move. Neither of these new moves are good enough to throw away a barrier, so yeah, he gets to go behind Nebula Gray. So, that's Bass's final form, right? What if I told you there was one more? Introducing the most mysterious Battle Network character, Beast Out Bass. Yes, that is Bass with a full Beast Out going. And as far as I can find, we know zero lore about him or his abilities. So let's just speculate he has Megaman's Falzar beast abilities combined with Bass Beast Crosses. I think that's a fairly grounded assessment. So, by this logic, he can fly and his machine gun attack is now a wide spray of feathers. He can teleport into and away from his enemy with lightning quick attacks. I could see Falzar doubling up Hell's Rolling too. I think this would secure him a spot behind Duo.
You forgetting me?
No, do you count? You are a crossover character. The Count of Ground so... You edgelord. No.
Do you know why they call me that? 'Cause I'm not going to drink your blood. I'm going to dye my carpet red with you.
Red carpet? I have a red carpet. Why don't you just take mine and I'll replace it with green or black? Black carpet with teal walls would be sick.
Ah!
Hold on there. We aren't done yet. I'm taking care of all the navies. Star Force has navies that cannot be fought, so they are all going ahead of normal navi. I'm putting Keyman at the bottom because how do you fight with a key? Especially if it's in your head. Maybe he could be like Gate Man, but then why would he be reduced to being the master of unlocking in exclusively legal methods? Next we have Trader Man, solely because he has a lot of pointy edges and could hurt someone by consequence of existing. Next we have Pitcher Man. You might be thinking I'm lowballing because he could rapid fire fastballs. No. He has to take a break to recover after every throw. No wonder someone threw him away. Now we come to Thermo Man. Could he be a fire and ice navi? Nope, he's not Furnace and Freezer Man. He is your number one choice to control your home thermostat, and is hyper fixated on making the temperature just right. Maybe he has potential to give you heat stroke in a few hours? Propeller Man I expected to put low, as he's basically a knockoff Gyro Man. But he can fly things, and maybe he has wind powers or machine guns like the original. The other navis are just so frustratingly useless the harder you look. Finally, the king of this era is Shovel Man. He's the only one built to look at all imposing, and that digger could do damage. You think we're finally done? No, we have security robots, which are going top of H. They've been shown to be able to breathe fire, giving them a serious danger. But a middle schooler was capable of bullying one into a locker. So it's not that hard to dispose of one. It says more about the adults scared of one of these, just because it is breathing fire. That's Battle Network. Now there is only Star Force left. This was a lot. Are there any placements you disagree on? Did you guess the top of S correctly?